What's good, everyone? My name is Trade. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to discuss this trade right here, where I was able to turn 3 SOL into 91 SOL, profiting 88 SOL or $7,000. I want to give you guys a rundown of my thought process before, during, and after the trade, why I bought where I bought, why I sold where I sold, and how I was able to pull off such a clean and big trade while everyone is crying on the timeline about the market being slow and dry. As you guys know, I trade on Axiom. It's the absolute best trading terminal in the meme coin space. If you want to support the channel, link is in the description. Sign up and get 20% off fees. So this right here is the chart. All-time high of this coin was $2.5 million market cap. And guess who full clipped at the pico top? We'll go into that later. To begin the discussion about this trade, I want to give you guys a little bit of context. What was happening that day? I think this was a Friday, and the war between the US and Iran had literally just started. The US started sending missiles to Iran, and we had all this news blow up. We had a bunch of war-related coins coming out. And so the dev of this coin is this wallet I track, and it's a pretty well-known developer at this point. His name is Doji. This is his X right here. And from my experience, I know that this dev has already ran coins very high in the recent past. For example, if we look at Epstein coin, when the Epstein files were getting released, he dev'd this coin and he ran it to an all-time high of 3 million market cap. So this was one of his first very big cooks. And when you're often trading meme coins, you know about this. You know that Doji has ran this coin. Beside this coin, he has also ran very recently this Bill Clinton coin right here, which had an all-time high of 800k market cap. And then he has ran a couple other more coins that went to 500+k market cap. So before anything, I understand that this dev, whenever he decides to run a coin, he does it with a very strong bundle and he runs it properly. He already has a little bit of a name in the space and people already know that this developer can run coins. This is very important for what we're about to discuss. So back to the chart. When all this war meta started and a bunch of war coins were coming out, I suddenly see Doji, this dev that I've just talked about, dev some coins that are related to Iranian officials, and then he devs 3 Iran coins. After the first, I didn't really know what he was doing. After the second, I had an idea of maybe he wants to run a coin today. And after the third, I understood that today he's probably gonna run a coin. If we look at all 3 of these Iran coins, I bought all of them because that day was just a perfect day for him to send a coin very high, because there was a new meta. It was big, it was all over the news, and a coin like Iran could potentially go. So this I bought right here, I lost 1.5 SOL on it. This one right here, I bought as well, lost only 0.2 on it. And this one right here, I lost 0.5 on. So in total, I lost 2.5 SOL on trying to probe the bundle. So I was just holding, seeing if I could get into a coin that he runs. Eventually, all of these coins that you see right here from 4 days ago were just coins where he was rinsing and taking money from people that were trying to front run his dev and his bundle, which was me included. So yeah, after these 3 Iran coins, he devs this peace coin. Okay, and let's go back to the very start of this chart, and I'll start slowly explaining what I was thinking, where I bought, why I bought, and what was happening. Okay, so right here we're at the very inception of the coin, and as you can see, people like me were already very attentive. The initial candle is pretty big, from 3k all the way to 10k. Most of them were snipers and Doji's side wallets. And then as you can see right here, he doesn't even really let it dip. He sells 2 times on his dev wallet and it just keeps going up. And here, when the bundle started going this hard, I didn't know that this was gonna run this high, but I knew what I was saying already with the Iran coins, Doji will probably run a coin today. So I always advocate not to top blast, but in this instant I decided to top blast, and it ended up being the correct decision. So I blast here, I blast 1.5 SOL on 2 wallets, in total 3 SOL. Somewhere around here he posted it in his Discord confirming that he's gonna run the coin. He talks about paying DEX. When he starts talking about paying DEX, it candles, it migrates. Right here I clipped a 20% clip or something like that, just to be comfortable with it going back to my entry and maybe a little bit lower, because as I've said already many times, looking at his past coins, I understand that the ceiling is way higher than 30k. I didn't want to exit my position with this pretty decent entry and with the potential I saw in this coin. The most important idea right here is, 1, I know the dev wallet and I know that he has ran coins before. 2, we have a new meta and there should be a runner for this meta because it's huge. It's like the US invades Iran. 3, the dev has made 3 to 5 coins rinsing people trying to copy trade, rinsing people that are trying to get in the bundle, indicating that he wants to run a coin. He wants to get as much supply as possible before bonding so he can have some supply control in the coin that he's running. So those are three things that are going through my mind. And when I have a 16k entry here, I de-risk a little bit before migration because coins lately tend to like just nuke after migration. So when it does go back to my entry, I don't really mind. And yeah, I'm just keeping all these things in mind, understanding that the ceiling on this coin is actually pretty high. It went back to my entry, it ranged a bit, and finally DEX got paid. And then once DEX got paid and I started seeing these type of candles, which clearly indicated that he was bundling the coin, which is not always bad because people that have an idea for the coin and have an idea of it going to a mill, there needs to be some kind of a bundle and some kind of supply control. So I was not afraid of this bundle. I was riding it and I was trying to see like what is exactly is he trying to do here. And then somewhere around like this zone, when it started going higher, when it broke out of this zone, it started becoming clear to me that he might actually run this coin very high. And so right here, I was holding, I think, around 12 to 13 SOL in the coin at 80k market cap. And here I start taking my first initial clips. I clip my initials. Why did I do this? Why did I decide to clip here, which actually became kind of a local top? So here, what I do is I look back at the last coin he properly ran, the one that went to 800k. And I just try to get a grasp of how he runs his bundles. And I see that here around the 100k mark, there's a deep dip, okay? And so it actually looks pretty similar too, right here. Second we start approaching 100k, I start clipping initials. Because I know there's a dip coming and we obviously don't know if it's gonna survive it. I was pretty sure it was, but just in case I took my initials and I was fully risk-free in the position now at this point, holding somewhere between 12 and 10 SOL at this point right here. It does the dip, it recovers very well, and here I start understanding, okay, Doji wants to run this coin, this might actually go very high. And everything that started happening from here, big props to Doji as well. As you guys know, meme coins, they're all vaporware. And we all know that we're trading just narratives that don't have any intrinsic value. And it's all just fake. But within this space, you can still create potential present and future catalysts that the market agrees with and is prepared to buy for. And Doji is one of those developers that's very good at that. So in this up move right here, he started going live on the coin. As you can see here on Pump Fun, you can go live. So he went live right here. He was basically like bull posting the coin, talking to the people in the chat, making everyone bullish, saying that he's gonna go on X spaces, he's gonna get this buyer in, that buyer in, he's gonna do this, that, he's gonna donate to different charities. And he did all that. These are the catalysts I'm talking about. We're all trading vaporware, but there are certain things that developer can say or someone can buy, and some things that can happen that the whole market agrees is a bullish thing for the coin. And upon those things appearing and happening, a lot of buyers agree that this is good and they buy the coin, push the price higher. So obviously there was also a bundle in this, but there were also real buyers. And so the beauty of this coin is that right here, it's very risky because you don't know, is Doji gonna run it? Is he not? But here, when he posted the CA, when he paid the DEX, when he paid the boost, when he went live, when he started talking about spaces, people that are a bit more risk averse, they are ready to buy at these levels right here. They're ready to buy at these levels right here, pushing the price higher. He has people that are like me, ready to gamble maybe a little bit more, but get that crazy return at 15k. And he has people that want pure confirmation from him that he's gonna run the coin and maybe size in a bit more and get that 2-3x with size at the 200k. And that's how you can really push coins. So now I just want to talk about where I clipped and why I did that. So after taking my initials right here, the next time I clip is here at around the 400k mark. Now why did I do that? At this point right here, I'm holding about 40 to 50 SOL in this coin. As you can see, I haven't clipped anything. And obviously my balls are tingling a bit because we're getting into real numbers. And honestly, my advice, if you really believe in a coin, it's not very healthy to just stare at the position that you have a lot of money in, because you're gonna end up making mistakes like this. We have a lot of people in the trenches saying you can never go broke taking profits. But these clips right here, because I clipped quite a lot, eventually ended up costing me like 40 to 50 extra SOL that I could have made on this coin. Now, nevertheless, when I'm in a position like this, a coin at a higher market cap, I have to make an argument of why I'm clipping. How I look at this situation and how I advise you guys to look at these type of coins, at any coin to be honest, is look at your position that you're holding right now and look at the chart from a position of a good, disciplined, but sidelined trader. Look at the chart from the perspective of that trader and start thinking whether that trader will buy around here or on a good dip from here. So are there still catalysts? Are there still marginal buyers at these levels? Okay, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying right here. So when you're in a position, your exit strategy should align with, in your worldview, there not being any marginal buyers anymore at this level, and that's where you full clip. And why did I clip here? So if we look back at his previous biggest runner right here, Epstein, that went to 3 mil, I'm now starting to compare this Peace coin with this Epstein coin because I really think this can maybe even surpass the previous all-time high of the Epstein coin. So when I'm looking at this chart, I see right here, and obviously, like, I don't see anything of this right now in this Peace chart. I'm just looking basically at this right here. I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at these Epstein coin, and this happened also on the Bill Clinton coin and on the previous coin he ran. There were always these humongous dips, so the bundle clipping, and I was afraid of this. And to de-risk from me getting into a position where I'm up 50 SOL here but only 25 or 20 SOL here, I start clipping here. This is the reason I start clipping here, and this is the reason I start clipping here, in case this goes deeper down into the 200k area and maybe we get stuck there, and you never know what happens, right? So this is my justification of clipping up here. I clipped way too much, to be honest, so eventually I'm left here with like a 25 SOL position, and I'm comfortable with it. I clipped it, it was a mistake, but I justified it by looking at his previous coins and seeing these deep dips that we haven't had on this chart yet. We end up never having them. Well, I guess this is the first very deep pull down that we have, okay? But obviously right here, I don't know that, so I still de-risk a little bit. So I left 25 SOL in this position and I just let it ride. I understood that at this point Doji is running this coin. The ceiling is very high. It's much higher than 300-400k. This can go millions. Then I start seeing it wick right here, and when it starts approaching like this 800k range, a mil range, this is where I start taking pretty heavy profits. 1 million market cap is a very psychological zone. It's a zone where people take profit, and it's a zone where I could justify taking a lot of profits because I'm already up like 2000% here, and this is where I start taking my first like heavy profits. Okay, I clip a pretty big amount right here. Like, we're not gonna go over all this, but I clipped like big part of my position. I still had like, I don't know, I guess 20 SOL, 20, 15, 20, maybe 25 SOL in here. These were not buys. These are small bad signals. These are just very small, like 1 cent buys. They don't really mean much. And then we have the next interesting thing that happens. We have someone blasting like a lot of SOL in here, and a lot of people were telling me in VC that this was the blow off top, this was done. And obviously I clipped some, but I still left a good position. Why did I do this? In my view, this was not a blow off top, because right here we're at 1 p.m. European time, and most of the US hasn't even woken up yet. They don't know that a war has started, and they haven't even hopped onto Memescope to check out what coins were out. So the reason I didn't full clip up here is because I knew that in the next couple of hours the US will wake up and they will look for a runner. This was literally one of, if not the highest runner of the war method that we've had at that point. So obviously I clipped a decent amount right here, but I didn't full clip yet because people were telling me this is a blow off top, but I knew that the US hasn't woken up yet. This was launched in EU hours, 9 a.m. EU hours. Now it's 1 p.m. EU hours. That's typically where the US starts slowly waking up. In order for it to be a blow off top, the whole market has to have seen this coin, and this is why I didn't full clip up here. Of course, after this blast to 2 mil, I understand that, okay, let me remove the bubbles. We've literally been only up. A big dip needs to come. So when it starts ranging here, we show the bubbles again, I clip the majority of my position out here, especially here when I see it reject the all-time high again, because this was more like a one buy. As you can see, this is a wick. This was really like the region of the all-time high. It rejects it and it starts showing weakness, and here I clip the majority of my position around here, and I leave 10 SOL in because I know there's gonna be a deep dip. What I did was I put a fib on it, and I don't put it on the needle on the wick because this was just one person blasting it insta suppressed. So I just put it on the zone where it bounced, where it became resistance twice, and I just say to myself, we've had literally an only up chart to 2 mil. That's not that common in this market, to be honest. There's gonna be a deep dip, so let me stack the majority of my position and let me keep what I feel comfortable potentially round tripping. So when I clip here, I leave like a 10 or 11 SOL position, and I literally just went to sleep because I knew a big dip was coming and I didn't want to sit through it, and I knew that it will probably recover because a chart like this needs a big dip and it needs new fresh buyers to buy that dip. I slept through all of this and I woke up when it was back here, and I just looked at the chart. I said, okay, US market has woken up. He's still running this coin. Let's see if it can go back up to 2 mil, and I'll start full clipping there. That was literally my thought process. Let's see if it can go back to the previous all-time high. If it can go back there from such a deep dip, it shows strength. Let's see what it does at the the previous all-time high and let's make a decision there. So it slowly starts grinding back up to the all-time high. Let me remove the bubbles. Starts grinding back to all-time high, dips a little bit, but shows strength, and it literally just breaks the all-time high with a very impulsive candle with a lot of volume. And so it's showing strength, but I understand that at this point it's 8 p.m. European time. The US is awake. Everyone has seen this coin, and this really was already a sign for me that this was a blow off top. Everybody has seen this coin, and when I start seeing people like Ethan Prosper buy up here that usually just farms 10k toppers, you know, he's mostly a new pair trader, I was like, okay, this might go 5M, this might go 10M, but I'm happy with the profits I got. I'm gonna full clip right here. And this was really the sign for me that it might be over right here. This breakthrough resistance is obviously a sign of strength. But as I said, the whole market has seen this coin already. We're not at the best times in the trenches right now. There's not a lot of marginal buyers at these levels to push this coin like consistently higher. So this was like my thought process. I ended up being right. But when I fully clipped out here at 2.5 mil, I was fine with the coin going like a 2x from here. I made my P and I was completely fine with the coin going higher. And I would have been happy for anyone that would have made even more money. So this is the reason I full clipped here and not here. So let me repeat myself. People were saying it's a blow off top right here, but I knew it wasn't because the whole market hasn't seen this coin yet. Then it got a deep dip. It showed a lot of strength. It broke through resistance, got these FOMO candles. I saw some new pairs traders starting to buy it, like, and I was like thinking, okay, we just dipped to 600k. We got all the fresh buyers in right here that are probably taking profits here again. Like, who is blasting up here? I just couldn't find a marginal buyer up here, and so I full clipped, and I ended up being right. I clipped the pico top, and this was, except for honestly these clips right here at the 300k zone, which were mostly like just a little bit of self-justified panic clips, I played it pretty well. I took my P at the mill, took aggressive P at the mill, took most of my profits out here because I knew this was gonna get a dip. Dip survived, it showed strength. The whole market has seen this coin at this point. So yeah, this is basically a recap of the trade. Very juicy P&L, very happy with this trade, both in percentage wise and in Solana. This is $7,000. I literally made a good salary in one day trading meme coins. So for everybody that's saying meme coins are dead, you can only make money on meme coins with insider information, or like you have to have a bunch of capital. Here you go. You have a guy that sat here for a year, studied the markets, that understands more or less what he's doing, and I just turned $236 into over $7,000. Okay, so there's still a bunch of money to be made. We still have $1 million runners every single day, literally, and it's just, do you want to be crying about volume being lower than last year, or do you want to lock in and actually make money? If you want to lock in, if you want to study the market, be analytical about it, be dedicated, be disciplined, there's still a lot of money to be made in this market. So I hope you guys learned a lot from this video. I hope you guys got a better understanding of how to approach exit strategies with the thought process of looking at the chart from the perspective of a good sideline trader. If you want to support the channel, sign up on Axiom, link is in the description, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on X. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you for watching this video. Day 2 of the 10 Soul Meme Coin Challenge is coming as well, so stay tuned, subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.